Hey Jake, why don't you ride those bikes harder? Because that's what the owners are for. Time to do supermoto stuff. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna find out. Oh, we cleared for flyby. That's a negative Ghost Rider. Factory pipe. 2017 DRZ400. This one's got blue wheels, which makes it cool. This is a completely stock bike. I know nothing about it other than that. Literally just got off Brandon's 2009 Kawasaki 250SF. And when we went to go film it at his house, this dude Steven was over there, and he's super cool dude. He's like, well, I got this brand new DRZ400. You want to ride that? I'm like, yes, abso-frickin-lutely. This thing is beautiful. You guys are really getting to see the first ride of this thing. I've been on this thing for a total of 25 seconds, maybe. Like, there was a short clip before I started filming. That's it. This is literally my first time riding this thing, ever. My second supermoto, first DRZ, and this one is a brand new bike. And like I said, I was over filming the Kawasaki 250SF that you saw last week, and this dude, who I'd never met before, was just hanging out in my mechanic's garage, and he's like, hey, you want to ride this? And I'm like, is that a DRZ400? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, do you mind? And he's like, well, and this goes back to a video I filmed a couple weeks ago. He's like, well, I've never let anyone ride it ever, but sure, you can film it. If you're a moto vlogger, go ahead. I'm like, okay. And like the level of like honor and privilege that you need to, like, if you don't ride motorcycles, maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't ride motorcycles, you need to understand how like significant that is for a dude to give you the keys to his motorcycle, especially his new DRZ400 that he hasn't let anyone else ride, especially after just meeting you. That's a big deal, dude. That is not a joke. Like, this is his baby. Like, if he's anything like every other motorcycle dude I've met, he probably lusted after this bike for months before he bought one, maybe even years. And then I come along and I'm some schmuck in a beard with a GoPro. It's like, yeah, man, you can ride it. No big deal. I'm like, what is happening? Oh yeah, definitely faster than the 250. Even still, the 400 is really, really friendly. That's one thing I've already noticed about supermotos, so I guess we can do a quick comparison to the 250. Initial impressions, it's definitely faster, it has more torque, it seems to pull harder in the high end, whereas the 250 seems a little bit linear. Not that that's even a bad or a good thing, it's just what I've noticed. It's torqueier on the low end. I mean, it's you know, kind of simple. Being a 400 it's going to be a bigger, faster bike. It doesn't feel that much faster. It really doesn't. I mean, it feels somewhat quicker, just not much. Not 150 cc's. It doesn't feel almost twice as big. I mean, I'm not a supermoto expert, so it's hard for me to say. It's got a different display, obviously. It's got the LCD display or LED or whatever it is. This one is as stock as they come, with the exception of like the wheels, I think. It's only got, you know, 4,800 miles on it. Still looks brand new. Doesn't look like it's ever seen dirt. It's cool. Like, it's a cool, DRZs are cool, dude. I dig them. I've always liked DRZs. Out of all the supermotos, I think DRZs are the most like common. They're the most famous. And I've always really liked DRZs. I've just never gotten to ride one until today. But surprisingly, between this and the 250, it doesn't feel that much different. It feels bigger, because it is. It feels wider. Like, the seat for me is probably a little bit better, because I'm a bigger dude. It stands a little bit taller, which again, for me, is nice. The bars feel about the same. I guess if there's one immediate advantage to the DRZ is I would imagine there's more mods available for DRZs just because they're more common. Like, DRZs are everywhere. Not to say that they're cheap, they're not. They're kind of pricey bikes. Like, this is a more expensive supermoto than you would typically find. But I guess that's definitely one advantage to the DRZ is they're probably easier to mod. That being said, I'm not a supermoto guy, so I don't know. I gotta say, if you're doing a lot of highway riding, I think you're pretty much safe. You're safe with either bike. Either one of the supermotos that I've ridden, the 250 or the 400, you're fine on either one. If you're gonna do more city riding, like kind of like we're doing today, again, not my bike. I'm not gonna take it out and tear it up and like put a bunch of miles on it. And I'm not doing that. It's not my style. City riding, I gotta say, the torque of the 400 is nice. The low end from stop sign to stop sign, which is exactly what we're doing right now. It's really nice. You saw from the pictures before, it's super clean. These things look so good. And like I said a couple weeks ago, supermotos always look good. There's something about a dirt bike on street tires, they automatically get a pass. But like DRZs in particular, man, especially on these, like the white on blue, this white on blue combo that Steven has going on, dude, it is minty. And this whole day, like, this just goes back to motorcycle people. Like, I knew this dude for 30 seconds. He saw the GoPro, he's like, want to film it? No one's ever ridden it before. I'm like, I will do that, because that sounds awesome. And don't worry, we're getting to a highway. I'm gonna open it up for you. I'm not gonna hammer on it, I'm not gonna abuse it. It's too pretty, it's too fine, and it is too not mine to beat on this bike. I'm still gonna ascend it. I can't tell you how smooth these bikes really are. They really are easy to ride. If you were thinking about getting a bike, like a first bike, a supermoto could very easily be the way to go, because they are just so friendly to the rider. So easy to ride. You know, I don't think we can really blame that on the DRZ. I weigh 240 pounds, but like I was saying, that's the 250 I rode a couple weeks ago, and it didn't feel that much faster, and apparently it's not. Dude, I was wide open. I was... Not much faster? No, not really. Apparently not. Okay, so maybe I was in the wrong gear on the last one. This bike is so cool. I'm all about it. And yeah, apparently, the 250 with Brandon on it versus a 400 with my big butt on it really isn't that much different. Who knew? And they are so smooth. Like, even at wide open throttle, these bikes are so well behaved, which is completely opposite of every experience I've ever had on any dirt bike ever. Now, obviously, a bike that's tuned for the street like these two are versus a bike that's tuned for dirt are going to be totally different. But I'll be honest, the first time I ever rode a dirt bike, it was a dirt-only Yamaha 250 4-stroke. And I was actually more scared on that dirt bike, that little 250, than I was on my CBR. Like, some dirt bikes, at least the ones that I rode initially, are the twitchiest, most like nervous machines in the world. Like they just like they twitch and they jump, and it's like super sketchy because you just, there's no throttle like rolling on. It's just, the throttle's a light switch. It's just on or off. It's just all go or nothing. And these, I know they're tuned for the street, obviously. They're built differently, they're tuned differently, but these bikes are just so well behaved, man. Final thoughts on the DRZ400. They've been building them forever. They know what they're doing. These bikes have a huge following. I totally get it. It feels so solid. It feels so well built. It's such a beautiful bike to look at. Pros and cons, I guess if there is a con, it's that these bikes are so high in demand. Like, there might be a lot of them, but they're so high in demand. It's really hard to get a DRZ400 and not pay a premium for it. By that I mean pay a lot more for a DRZ than you might for like a comparable KLX 250 or something. That is really the only con I can think of with the DRZ400. Even the owner of this bike was telling me how he had kind of a hard time finding a DRZ for a reasonable price because people just want so much money for them. The pros are, dude, as far as I know, they're dead reliable. This one is really, really comfortable. You know, I was kind of hesitant to say that I would ride a supermoto long distance, but after riding this one and the 250, I can tell you I would totally ride it long distance without a hesitation. They get great gas mileage. Even this one being a 400, I'm sure you could get 60 miles to the gallon out of it. The mods, if you're a dude that wants to build a bike and like make it yours, there is almost no better platform than a DRZ400. Like, people have been modding and building these things forever, and they're just cool. They're so cool to look at that you can do anything to them. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I want one. Make it mine. I want one. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am Big Fast Jake on Instagram. One word. All the links are in the bio. Thank you again to Steven for letting me ride this bike, dude. Really, really appreciate it. Made my day. And we will see you on Sunday. Bye now.